Welcome back to Augmented Reality with the Merge Cube. We're utilizing CoSpaces as our means to making our augmented reality. So, as we get into actually making something, we're going to be just sticking around here in the My Spaces for right now. We will be getting into my classes later. This here is a nice little tutorial that kind of shows you how to use CoSpaces a little bit. It doesn't necessarily show you just the merge cube. It does do lots of other things, but I felt at least was kind of neat to look at and gave you some extra ideas. So go ahead and click the create space and it's going to show us we have two types of spaces. So the free version has AR VR space, and if you have to get the pro version, which does have a cost for the license for the merge cube. Now you should be able to see the merge cube because you got into one of my classes because I'm using a pro version. Now, what I did was I used a free 1 month trial, which I'll be giving you a code for at the end of our class to work with my students using the merge cube. And then I took some video, I showed my curriculum director, and I showed her how I wanted to use it and that it was going to be really cool and kind of, cutting edge for our classroom, and she felt that it was worth the money. So if you want some ideas on how to approach your curriculum director to get the licenses for this, then feel free to ask and I will share that with you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Merge Cube. And there it is. There's the Merge Cube. Very nice. And so if you don't have a Merge Cube, I suggest you get one. You can get them on Amazon or Walmart.com. And I believe they're about $15. That's what they were the last time I looked. They do have some goggles. I don't have the goggles, but the goggles looked kind of nice because you can put your phone in there, you can strap it on your head, and you could use both hands to manipulate the cube. I found it to be a little awkward trying to manipulate the cube with my phone in my hand, but it wasn't impossible, and I didn't feel like purchasing the headset on my own. So let's get started making something cool. I think I'm just going to make a little barnyard scene, and I'm going to put it right here on the top. Now I can add to any side, including the bottom, but basically once I show you how to add it to one side, adding to the other side is really no big deal, except the bottom, and I will be showing you that as well. So I'm going to make a barnyard scene, but what I don't want is my barnyard animals to be on this weird looking cube thing. So I'm going to right click, and by the way, you will be utilizing the left and right click quite a bit on your mouse. And so I'm going to right click and I'm going to click on the material. And under the textures, there is something that looks like grass, and you can see the different types, and there's also colors. You can customize the color if you want. So if you want something just real special, you can do that. And also, there is the opacity, make it invisible or not. There are some good reasons for making it invisible, and I'll share some of those a little bit later. If for some reason I don't share it out in the class and you want to know, well, why would you want that to be invisible? Ask. But I want to show you that because you might come up with some really cool ideas for why you don't want the cube there, but you might want an augmented object there. And you'll notice that in this class, I try not to give too many ideas because I feel like that stifles your creativity because you're just thinking, well, this is what he suggested. I want you to think creatively. How could you utilize this for you and what you do with your students? So I'm going to go ahead and left click off of that, and now I have a cool little grassy scene. Down here, I'm going to click on library, and I'm already on my animals. You can see the different things here. And under animals, you have land animals, water animals, air animals. Those are pretty cool. So I'm going to go back to land, and I'm going to bring a cow. Now, what I can't do is just put it right on top of the cube. I need to put it over here. I'm going to right click and tell it to attach. It's going to ask me, well, do I want it on the top or on the front? I'm going to put it on the top. Now my cow's a little too big, so I'm going to zoom out by just scrolling out a little bit, and I'm going to use this button right here to scale it, so big and small. So I'll make them a little bit smaller, and then I'm also going to click, and I'm just going to drag them around. I'm going to put them over here in the corner. This can also allow me to move it left, right, front, back. This blue one is up and down. This here also lifts them up or makes them down, and then this just rotates it. And I'm going to rotate it like this. I don't want to rotate it on the red or the green because these are going to be upside down. That's going to look really weird. So I'm going to click off, and there's my cow. Okay, super. Now I'm going to move this down. We're going to do some things with the cow. First, I'm going to right click on my cow and I'm going to animate him. So I want to set my animation to eating. So while I'm not doing anything, if we watch him there, he's going to eat. I haven't done any programming or just basically I clicked one thing and he's automatically eating. That's pretty cool. I'm going to right click again, and there are physics. I don't need that for this, but if you want something that, like, when you tilt the cube it falls because of gravity, that's really cool. It is a little tricky, but I have had students use it. Not very many, but I have had some seventh graders use it, so that's where I'm working from. I'm going to click on the code, and I need to switch this little button here to say on, using code blocks on. That's really important. And everything else I'm just going to leave as is, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to make him do something. So I'm going to go over to the code button, and notice it says code blocks right here. We're not going to use the JavaScript, and so I'm going to do the code blocks. Now, because I clicked that little thing that said using code blocks, when I go to my event that says when the cow is clicked, the cow shows up. If you don't have your object here where it says cow, I don't know what your object is, whatever it is, that's because you didn't switch that little lever over to use in code blocks. So when I click the cow, I want the cow to walk. So set the animation, and I'm going to move this over so I get more space there. I'm going to set it to walk. Now, I don't want him to walk forever, okay? I just want him to walk for a little bit. So actually, I want under control. I want, if I go down a little bit, wait 1 second. I'm going to make him do it for about 5 seconds. Oh, I missed it. There it is, 5. And then I'm going to basically go back to actions and just turn it right back off and just say back to eating. So like he's going to walk around and then eat again. Let's test this out. I'm going to click play and watch, my cow's already eating. There he is. When I click on him, oh, see there, I can click on him. He's going to start walking, but he's not walking anywhere. So that's a problem. Now, I can make him walk. I can make him walk in a number of ways. So I can come down here, and I'm going to keep scrolling. I think it's down here a little bit. I missed it up here. There it is. When he's clicked, let me find it. Move. There he is. I knew it was here somewhere. So I can move him forward like 1 meter in a second. But what I like to use is I like to use this path. So it kind of goes in a certain path. Well, I've got to set up the path. Notice there's nothing there. And so down under special are the paths. So I'm going to bring that path up. And just like before, I'm going to right click, and you have to right click. You have to click on the right spot. And that I do find to be a little bit tricky. There it is. I clicked in the right spot, and I want to attach to, and I can attach it to his eyes. I can attach it to his top. I don't want to attach it to his top. I'm going to attach it to the top of the merge cubes. I'm going to move it over here to him. I'm going to try to right click again. Good. Because I need to turn this on. And now look. Right there it is. Now this is just called round path. So what I'm going to change it to, I'm going to change the name of it to say cow path. Okay. So when I check it here, I have cow path. So I want to move the cow along the path for 5 seconds. So instead of just animating him, so I turned on the walking. I'm going to get rid of this 5 seconds here. I don't need that anymore. And then he's going to stop and eat after the 5 seconds. So he's going to look like he's walking. He's just going to kind of move along that path. And the reason why I have him move along the path after he's walking is so it looks like he's actually walking. And then when he stops, he's going to go back to eating. Let's see what this looks like. Now, he is going a lot faster than his legs are moving. Did you notice that? So, we might want to change this a little bit. So, I can say, I can choose a clockwise. I'm trying to think about how fast I want him to go. So, if I go 8 seconds, I'm trying to see, no, I don't want to copy that. See if that makes it any better. Okay, now I'm not totally unhappy with it. That looks a little bit better because I made it a longer, so it's going to go around once, but it took longer to go around, if that makes sense. So let me try adding just maybe another couple seconds, and to see if it looks any better. So I'm just trial and error because this is the first time I put a cow on a path. I've done some other things on a path and then just never done the cow. And so as you're walking around, so notice it's a little bit better. Yeah. So the longer I went, the slower it went around because it's still going to go just one time. It's just taking longer to go around once. And he's going to eat again. And he should eat. There he is. Now, I can see that path. I don't want to see that path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the path and right click on the path. And I want to click on the material. And I actually want to take the opacity and make it blank. So I can't see that anymore. Now, if I mouse over it, oh, there it is. And what is cool is I can take these little things here, and I can kind of make it kind of weird and wacky, so it's not just like a plain circle. And so, lastly, let's try it one more time. Notice I don't see my path. I click on him. He's kind of walking around, kind of aimlessly. Where do I want to eat? Where do I want to eat? Oh, I'll eat right there. Okay, perfect. I have my cow, and I have my cow's path. So notice that I have all the stuff that I need. I love it. I'm going to go back to my animals. I'm going to pick my pig. Pig there, right click. I'm going to attach it to the top. Now notice I have different places here, so I want to be careful. I don't want to necessarily do that. I'm going to put the pig over here. I'm going to turn my code on, but I'm also going to not do physics. I'm going to set animation. So I just think I'm going to have him snuffing. And I think I'm going to have him run like in a big old circle. Okay? So I'm going to go back to my round path. Actually, I'm going to do a square path this time just to show you the difference. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to attach it to the top. I'm going to move it over here. Oh, wrong one. I'm trying to grab it. There we go. Move it over here. But I'm going to move this like this. Like that. Okay, perfect. I'm going to click on it again, and I'm going to show my material. I'm going to set the opacity to there, and there we go. Oh, I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. That happens a lot. So, come on, click on that. There we go, material. Set the opacity. Perfect. And I'm going to call this, instead of square path, I'm going to call it pig path. Oh, and I don't think that I turned on CoSpaces. I didn't. There it is. Okay, so now this is what we have to think about. Do I want these things to happen at the same time? Do I want the cow to be able to be clicked and then the pig be able to be clicked? I have to think about how that's going to work because that depends upon how I work my events or my controls. Okay? So I could do a run parallel, which means that I can do two things at once. So you see here, I can add a task, which I don't need to. I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to put my pig right there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on there. When I notice this cow, but when my pig is clicked, what do I want it to do? I'm going to set my animation to pig, set my animation to, I'm going to roll. Let's see what it looks like. And then I want to move it along that path, so I need to go to my transform, and this one right here, move it along the pig path we'll do that one. We'll leave that one for 5 seconds, see how it looks. And then we're going to, I clicked the wrong one, sorry, actions. Then we're going to basically take him back to just snuffing. Okay? And maybe I'll make him sleep this time. So let's play this. Let's see how it looks. So when I play, they're both doing so. You can see him snuffing, you can see him eating, so they're both working at the same time. So he's rolling. That looks really silly. So don't really need a path for rolling. I think I might change him to just walking around like the cow because that looked really silly. So I'll make him walk. Okay. So you get an idea of what this work looks like. Okay? Now, you can add lots of different things going on. You'll see that there's lots of code here. You can actually have it when one thing is touching another, when one thing is close. Just look through these and you'll see all kind of different codes that you can try. Okay, you can have different thinks and says. That's pretty cool. And so that's something neat that I like to show. I told you that I would go back and I would show you how to get to the bottom. So you have to click on the cube and unlock it, and then you have to lift it up so that way you can actually rotate it. And I zoom out a little bit, and when I rotate it, I can rotate it, if I can get a hold of it, like this. Okay, so there's the bottom now. So I actually have to lift it up or detach it and spin it. I like to lift it up. You don't necessarily have to lift it up if you don't want. Okay. Now if I want to go back and I want to lock it again, then it's locked, and now the bottom is there, and you can actually see that it's rotated a little bit weird. So I'm going to unlock it again. I'm going to re-rotate it. I think I need to go up just a little bit. I wasn't enough. There we go. And I'm actually going to rotate it back up so that way my top is my top. So that's how you get to the bottom. Okay. The other cool thing is you can view inside. Now, I don't know if you can see in there. If I do it that way, you can see inside. The cool thing about the inside is I was thinking you could do a diorama. So we used to do those a lot. I don't know if anyone still does it, but when I was teaching elementary, I did dioramas with kids, right? Well, why not have a diorama that's augmented reality, that is animated, things move around? How cool is that? So instead of, bring a shoebox in with all these weird and wacky things, no, do a diorama in here and make things animate. You're telling a story, or you're showing information and what you learned about the different subject matter that you're in. And the diorama didn't cost the parents a thing. It didn't have to be done at home. It can be done at school. And I think the kids would get a lot more out of this. And they can actually videotape it. I'll show you that when we get into using our devices. And you could put that on the web or wherever to show off these different dioramas. I mean, it's like a 21st century diorama. It's pretty cool, the inside. If you're going to do that, I'll just add another little animal. So let me grab a goat here. And so when you left click and you attach, the inside, the bottom of the inside is now one of your options. So that's how you would get it inside of the cube. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and view outside, and I could continue to add that. So you've learned how to add and code different objects. I know I only added 2, but you are now able to add all kind of them. Play around, have some fun with this. Make yourself a little scene going on the cube or inside the cube, doesn't matter, and just get a feel for how this is going to work. And so the next video we'll kind of move on a little bit, and I'll show you how you can add some classes so that way you can then assign different work for the kids. If you have trouble, you know to message me, and good luck with this activity.